morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yesterday, I showed this video of this lady. She was in the Liberation War, and she is one of the many Liberation War heroes and heroines who have found themselves living in abject poverty. What I said yesterday is the penny has not dropped for many of the Liberation War heroes. They were made to believe that as Liberation War heroes, they are entitled to the peak of the crop, the best that Zimbabwe is going to offer. And they have supported ZANU-PF on that basis. And now, 45 years later, many of them are finding themselves living in abject poverty. And of course, they are right to be disgruntled. But their problem is they have failed to realize that Mugabe and the other ZANU-PF ruling elite misled them. They made them to believe that as a war veteran, you are special. You can enjoy economic prosperity ahead of everybody else. But to do that, you need to support ZANU-PF. Not knowing that ZANU-PF, by supporting ZANU-PF, the dictatorship, they have undermined their own position, because the economic reality is that ZANU-PF is corrupt, incompetent, and wasteful. The nation was never going to prosper under those conditions. And so it is no surprise that the nation's economy has collapsed. And they, like millions of other Zimbabweans, are finding themselves living in abject poverty. Let's just play a short clip of that lady's speech.
Mashoma vamunoziva navo ndo vachadya baki ibati vamwe tese hakungoperekedza mangana todarozve totsvagirwa taatawana nzvimbo kwakati ndevanhu ziri vanozivana ibati vamwe vese hakuna makomeredzika zvinorwadza zviri kuitika izvi inoda kutaurirai nyaya yezvikoro yekubhadharirwa ine mwana wangu ndakatopera kuita chembere ndega kutonyorerwa matsamba kutodii kuramba maozeta kumaofisi kutoramba saka mufunge kanyaya iripo mashefu endai munotaura kuti vanhu varwadziwa neupenyu nekuti izvi tikada kuti province iyo zvitonzidzisai madhora rimwe rikuenda kuprovince rimwe rikuenda kunational kutofidha vanhu ivavo vapo vachifidha kuti vekumusoro vepasi hakuna kana chiro tikada kutaura futi nyaya yekunzi zvacho mapuwa bhasikoro racho ri kubva 1 2 3 vamwe vese hakuna dhororo saka imba yacho yavakwa inoratidzwa vanhu vakavakirwa 1 2 3 vamwe vese vari kutambura munyika saka makomberedzika.
What she's saying there is true. Last year, for instance, we saw Mnangagwa going. Well, what is important here is to realize that what most of the war veterans aspiring for this economic prosperity is a mirage. They are in the same position as the rest of ordinary Zimbabweans who have been told by the regime of the economic prosperity. In 1980, the people of Zimbabwe were told by Mugabe that the regime was going to deliver Utsarushinji, mass prosperity. And this has been a mirage that the nation has been chasing for the last 45 years and counting. Vision 2030 is a mirage. The war veterans have found themselves in a similar situation. They too have been chasing a mirage. They've been told of economic prosperity that has never materialized. That is the reality in Zimbabwe. And in this particular case, what people should realize here is that we can pretend that the mirage is going to become a reality. Or we can make up our own minds and say, okay, let's deal with the reality on the ground. The political situation in Zimbabwe has failed. We need to face up to that reality. And from there, move on. But what I wanted also to emphasize here is that the war veterans, not all of them, have always had this mentality, this mercenary mentality. People should understand that many of the people who went into the liberation war genuinely believed in the ideals and values of freedom, liberty, and justice for all. And many of them who sacrificed their lives genuinely believed that. It's just that when the country was moving towards independence, the whole revolution was hijacked by the likes of Mugabe, Mnangagwa, and the other leaders who had the mercenary mentality. There can be no denying that the likes of Mugabe genuinely believed that they had the right, the divine right to rule the country. And this has been at the heart of why we are a failed nation. Because the mentality of Mugabe and the other ZANU-PF, that they have the divine right to rule, meant they had to enforce it. They had to rig elections to retain their control of the party. If the party was going to remain in power, they had no choice but to rig the elections. And that is the slippery path that we've been on. Even our army, I believe the army, when we gained our independence, was a disciplined army, but ZANU-PF corrupted the office bearers there. More so in the 2008 elections. When ZANU-PF realized the party was losing those elections, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga were the men behind Operation Mafotera Papi, in which they had the war veterans and the ZANU-PF militia as the foot soldiers who went out to punish the people of Zimbabwe for having rejected the ZANU-PF. The army, the police, the CIO, and the prison services personnel were then deployed for the purposes of carrying out the heavy-duty work of punishing the people in that year. Here is a video clip where some of the war veterans, notably we will see in their Jabulani Sibanda, betrayed everything that the nation had valued in the liberation war.
2008 patakaita ma-elections pakaposa papinda Tsvangirai ndandiri election agent ya-president. Ma-results abuda tiri pa-party headquarters vamutasa vanga vari secretary vedu ve-administration vamutasa muripi ndafona ndiri kwarusapi komogwenda kwarusapi seka ma-results achibuda kudai vanga aiwa zvako izvo Mnangagwa ndezvako endaenda kumusha ofisi vanga vabisa zvinhu zvavo zvose vatofunga kuti zani yadini yaparara. President ofona zvakamira sei kati ndomamira zvakaita takatodini kateda sei manje mama ndikati abvudzai baba nditaurira baba gadzirai politburo cabinet musarangarira zvimwe zivi gadzirai chi cabinet asi nangoda kuti muzive kuti 2008 ma-results abuda vamutasa vakatiza.
As a country we face a generational transition. Vana vesa vari kuma below 35, they are crying out for help. The country is in a mess. Arusuru, we know we are inheriting a mess. We know this country has been left with nothing.
I'm assuring you that starting from tomorrow, you'll see a different nation from what you have seen or read on the news about these results and everything. Where we are going ahead there, the situation will be very different. What we said to our people, they could not see with their own eyes. We are going to act as we see it fit. We are prepared to go the whole distance.
So if the truth be said, our war liberation heroes and heroines genuinely believed in freedom, liberty, and justice for all. They were corrupted by the regime for their own selfish purpose. And I would like to appeal to the war veterans to realize that they were sucked into this dictatorship, into supporting the ZANU-PF dictatorship, believing that was part and parcel of what they fought for. The truth of the matter is it was not. And the sooner they realized that and woke up to that reality, the better for the country and the better for them too. Here is General Sanyatwe speaking about his support of ZANU-PF.
Saka ZANU-PF ichatonga kusvika madhonge ameranya. Muchida musingadi. Ameni. Apa ndakutaura sakomanda ami. Shashandisa inonzi command voting. Yes. Nyaya yemasabhuku waridzi wemusangano chazvigadzira. Amen. Mamberina idi munangagwa pasi nemhandu security forces saka PC mukuru wemaudondini
If there was ever a time when the war veterans, the army, the police, everyone must sit back and have a serious look at what is happening to the country, it is now. We all must accept that the present political system is not working. And the main reason for it, we have a dictatorship that is not accountable to the people. I've said it on this platform and I'll say it again. The right to free, fair, and credible election is more than a right. It is the essence of good governance. By imposing the de facto one-party state, ZANU-PF is denied the whole nation the benefits of good governance. And this is why everyone, including the war veterans, must wake up to that reality and start demanding meaningful democratic change in the country, because only then will the country have a chance for meaningful and lasting change. Think about it. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.